What is up, DS3 TV? We are back for another video. This one is the End of a Samurai Part 3, the Boshin War. Boshin War, I believe that's how you say it. But yeah, so we starting back on this one. And yeah, part of the next video will be a re-upload. So yeah, because I know I didn't finish up. I think that was the Irish Famine series. I didn't finish putting that back out. So yeah, also put in the description down below which videos you want me to react to. I mean, in the comment section down below, put which videos that you want me to react to. And also, subscribe to the channel. I want to get 500 subscribers by January 14th. And yeah, so let's get into it. And yeah, thank you guys for 320 subscribers, by the way. And yeah, play.
December 10th, 1867. Sakamoto Ryoma sits in an anonymous inn, discussing how things will soon change. A month before, the shogun Yoshinobu had accepted an 8-point proposal that handed political power to the emperor. Ryoma had written that proposal, yet the transition is not complete, and his friends say there's still danger. The year before, Ryoma had escaped assassination in a house much like this one, battling his way out and firing point blank on the attackers with a Smith & Wesson revolver. Suddenly, a heavy thump is heard from downstairs. His bodyguards, 2 sumo wrestlers, must be sparring again. He yells for them to knock it off. But moments later, the sliding door opens, revealing men with swords, the shogun's men. As Ryoma lunges for his katana, someone knocks over the room's lantern. And in the sudden darkness, the blades of assassins fall on Sakamoto Ryoma. On November 9th, 1867, Shogun Tokugawa Yoshinobu, after years of intrigue and violence, finally bowed to political reality. The restorationist Triple Alliance of Choshu, Satsuma, and Tosa provinces had a modern army to match his, and civil war was on the horizon. He could fight, or he could step down and let the Tokugawa clan retain some role in government. So he accepted the 8-point plan, written by the young radical Sakamoto Ryoma, one that amounted to the total reshaping of Japan's political system. The first point called for Yoshinobu to resign as shogun, giving full political power to the imperial court. There would also now be a 2-part legislative body with an upper and lower house to decide government policy based on popular opinion. It created new advisors and abolished old offices, and called for a reshaping of foreign affairs, a new legal code, an enlarged navy, an official imperial guard, and fixing the price of precious metals to the world market. Yoshinobu didn't lose all of his power, though. Exactly who would perform what function and what powers the shogun would maintain was a subject of divisive debate, because the shogun's official duties were to be Japan's military leader, and Yoshinobu still had a considerable military force personally loyal to him. That included a core force of 900 modern infantry troops trained by a French military mission, and a modernized fleet with British naval advisors. He also had a power base of northern daimyo that he could rally to his cause. Indeed, many in the restorationist camp thought Yoshinobu should be brought into the governing coalition. A peaceful transfer of power would help legitimize their new government in the eyes of foreign powers. Plus, just like many restorationists, Yoshinobu was reform-minded and believed in modernization. Moderates thought they could work with him, but the radicals among the restorationists, particularly Saigo Takamori, refused. They wanted the shogunate dissolved, with the Tokugawa clan stripped of their lands and barred from government. It was a stalemate. And then the restorationists got tired of waiting. On January 3rd, 1868, Satsuma and Choshu troops marched on the imperial palace in Kyoto and got the emperor's guards, in reality his shogunate jailers, to stand down. Now freed to act as he wished, the 15-year-old emperor declared the restoration of imperial rule and beginning of a new era, that of Meiji, meaning enlightened rule. 2 weeks later, in the shogunate capital of Edo, Yoshinobu officially rejected the restorationist terms, which now included the surrender of all his lands. Restorationist partisans burned Yoshinobu's personal palace in Kyoto down for refusing to submit, and then he responded by raising the Edo residence of the Satsuma leader Saigo Takamori. Then, Yoshinobu sailed out of Osaka Castle with his modernized force, vassal troops, and Shinsengumi, and he swore to liberate Emperor Meiji from rebel control. Because despite everything that had happened, to appear legitimate, Yoshinobu still had to claim that he was acting in the emperor's best interest. The
That does make sense though. You do want to like to keep morale, and everybody on your side, you do need need to keep the emperor safe. I see what he was going for.
Russian War had begun. January 27, 1868, a road south of Kyoto. The shogunate advanced guard reaches a bridge, seeing a Satsuma banner and restorationist troops dug in. But their commander doesn't expect a battle. Shogunate forces number 15,000, and here there are only 5,000 restorationist defenders. He puts his feudal vassal troops with pikes in the front, and the modernized infantry behind them haven't even loaded their rifles. Then he sends a messenger to the Satsuma, saying they carry a letter to the emperor and asking for passage. The Satsuma then deny them passage and open fire. And it's here that the firepower of the restorationist force becomes apparent. The shogunate force has 2 modernized infantry battalions. True, but the Satsuma have invested in artillery. A shell from a breech-loading Armstrong gun explodes near the commander, throwing him from his horse. Then more shells fall. There's the crack-crack of rifles throwing conical bullets the size of a thumb, and then starting slow but getting faster, the lethal drumbeat of a Gatling gun. Further south, on a different road, the second shogunate column is approaching another bridge. Here too, the outnumbered restorationists are dug in, and at the sound of shooting in the distance, their guns open up as well. Shinsengumi and vassal troops charge into the smoke-wreathed bridge, into withering fire. The huge shogunate army can't take the bridges, but they also don't flee. Then, on the second day, a new battle standard appears on the restorationist lines, an imperial brocade banner, a standard that can only be carried when the military has the express permission of the emperor and his personal sanction. Along with it comes a directive from the emperor that Yoshinobu and any who fight with him are traitors. The emperor had, with all of the powers of the state, backed the restorationists. And now, this is no longer a rebel force, it's the Imperial Japanese Army. This news does what the advanced guns could not. It breaks the shogun's larger force. Men fall back, unwilling to fire on the imperial banner. Units defect, and previously shogun-aligned daimyo lock their castle gates to the retreating army. Granted, shogunate forces had won a minor naval victory the same day, but it was cold comfort. Yoshinobu, shaken by the dramatic political turn, boarded a ship and fled to Edo. But the now imperial forces chased him. Saigo Takamori also caught the head of the Shinsengumi in an ambush outside the shogunate capital, annihilating his force and executing him, incorrectly, for the murder of Sakamoto Ryoma. Then, the now imperial troops surrounded Edo and took it, street by street, over the next 2 months. Yoshinobu found his options running out. In fact, his one remaining point of leverage, that foreign governments still recognize the shogunate as Japan's legitimate government, also vanished, as imperial diplomats had convinced the Western nations to remain neutral and back whoever won. Then sometime in June, Yoshinobu unconditionally surrendered to Saigo Takamori's forces and voluntarily went into house arrest at a local temple. But his admiral slipped away with the fleet, taking the most die-hard shogunate holdouts and a few French military advisors to the northern island of Hokkaido. There, they declared an American-style republic and geared up for the final confrontation, which is when the imperial forces wheeled out their most powerful weapon, pageantry. They arranged a massive imperial caravan to Edo at huge expense, moving the emperor out of Kyoto for the first time in his life and installing him in the shogun's former castle. There, the emperor declared that the city would be renamed to fit its new function in the post-shogunate world. It would be the eastern capital, Tokyo. It was an enormous propaganda coup, the first time ordinary people got to see the emperor and feel his presence. Though there were still some castles to besiege and diehards to clear out, the more public the emperor became, the more defections occurred, the more resistance melted, except in Hokkaido. Miyako Bay, Hokkaido, May 6, 1869. The Shinsengumi force and their French advisor crouch on the deck of the paddle steamer, ready for their desperate operation. They're flying a U.S. flag, masquerading as a foreign ship, and they're approaching the Imperial fleet, the one sent to crush them. At its head, the brand new ironclad Kotetsu, with armor far too thick for them to penetrate. From the outside, at least. They raise the flag of the Republic, paddle wheels churning them directly for the Kotetsu. Their guns open up at the last moment as they brace. The bow of their ship crunches into the ironclad, and a boarding party of the Shinsengumi goes over the other side. They plan to destroy or capture the Kotetsu from the inside in order to have a fighting chance in the battles ahead. But the drop to the enemy deck is steep. They can't all jump at once. And as they clamber down, one at a time, the crew of the Kotetsu shakes off the surprise of the ramming attack and heads to battle stations. The Shinsengumi surge forward with their swords and pistols as the fire of the Kotetsu's deck-mounted Gatling gun chops into them. They lose their commander. The French advisor takes 2 hits, and the boarding party breaks off the attack. The last chance of survival gone. The next day, Imperial forces, led by the Kotetsu, will destroy the Republic fleet and defeat their forces on land. The shogunate's last bastion has fallen, the Meiji Restoration complete. And with the Emperor finally winning his throne, there's only one question left. When his closest samurai turn against him, can he hold on to it? Oh, I didn't see you there.
That was a good video. But yeah, so I guess we'll find out about that next time. And yeah, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video. And peace and Happy New Year's. And also subscribe to the channel. I want to get 500 subscribers by January 14th. And yeah, talk to you guys in the next video. And peace.